launch of the year for Arianespace, and we're only in June. Well, there they are on the right, the green status panels, which tell the story. We had red just a moment ago. Now they're the color that we prefer. They are a real-time summary of all the launch activities here on the base, the launcher and the satellites, of course, but also services like telemetry, radar, safety, the weather, and the ground facilities. And we check them before lifting off, and we go when all of them are ready and not before. These panels tell us about the readiness of the main systems involved. And as you saw a moment ago, that wasn't the case. We had a red on an authorization to launch, but we're back in business now. Some 1,700 people are working around the space base in all. Another place besides here in Jupiter that is very busy at this hour is the launch zone, where the launch management teams are working under the direction of the launch operations manager, tonight Patrick Lucet. Right now up there, 2 teams are working. One is responsible for the ground operations, the other for readiness of the Ariane 5 vehicle. The launch site operations manager heads up one group, and he coordinates with Jupiter Mission Control here for final authorization to launch. And when all the conditions are right, he then okays the automatic sequence at the 7-minute mark, which we just saw. In all, about 100 people hard at work up there in launch control, going over the final checks and the final verifications on all parts of Ariane's launch system. And these checks go right down until liftoff time. 2.5 minutes to go until launch of our 94th Ariane 5 mission. And here in Jupiter, very shortly, the VIPs and the invited guests are going to start to make their ways outside to watch the liftoff. There are 2 terraces here on either side of the building that give a fine view onto the pad. And if the skies are clear, which they look clearer than this morning anyway, the visitors will have quite a sight. Here in Jupiter are the operational teams, but in fact, to launch Ariane or Soyuz or Vega, we also need security, army, firefighters, journalists, and other professions. Split screen image here showing the propellant feeder arms in the middle of the launcher, liquid hydrogen on the left, liquid oxygen on the right. What are they doing? Well, they're putting propellant into the upper stage tanks. And you'll see these arms pull back at about 5 seconds before ignition, and the arms you can see in the middle of the gantry, the yellow bars going into the upper stage. This is one of the last things you see before liftoff, that is, so we like to take a minute and mention it. 1.5 minutes to go. GSAT 17 arrived here on May 15th and went right to the satellite preparation buildings. Inmarsat Helisat arrived the week after on May 23rd. And began its tests. You're going to hear the DDO call out the 1.
À tous de DDO, attention pour moins 1 minute.
All those tests now to ready the launcher are over. Everything that has had to be done has been done.
Top à 0 moins 1 minute.
We're into the final 60 seconds. Give us a chance to say hello to our friends at ISRO in Bengaluru, to our friends at Arabsat, to Inmarsat tonight in London, Helisat people in Athens and in Larnaca in Cyprus, to the Thales Alenia space teams in Cannes and Toulouse. Hello locally to the Kourou, Sinnamary, and Cayenne sites, to our industrial partners, ISA and CNES, and to all of you following the broadcast on the internet. We hope you are enjoying it. If you're not settled in, pull up a chair and enjoy the launch, because we're going to cut away and let you listen to the DDO, and he will call out the final seconds. Remember, the cryo arms will open at about -7 seconds.
À tous de DDO, attention pour le décompte final. 10, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, top. Allumage Vulcain. Allumage UAP, décollage.
And we have left off.
Les paramètres bord sont nominaux.
So at 18:15, and right on time, well, with a 5-minute delay, Ariane 5 began her mission, lifting off
La propulsion est nominale.
in French Guiana with a lot of fire. Nice shot of the birds on the port side as she took off. I don't know if you could see that. The DDO is saying that everything is going smoothly on board as Ariane begins her mission, the 7th for Ariane Space.
Tous les paramètres à bord sont normaux.
2 new satellites for new services for new customers around the globe. The 2 boosters are providing 90% of our thrust right now, propelling the launcher along her trajectory at an ever higher velocity. 774 tons is her mass at liftoff. She's burning 5 tons of fuel per second, 2.5 tons in each booster, plus the core stage and the middle is burning another 300 kilos of fuel every second. And Ariane 5 now following the program in her onboard computer, which is located on the upper stage. This gives all the orders, including stage separations, which we will...
La propulsion est nominale, la trajectoire est nominale, tous les paramètres à bord sont normaux.
Propulsion and trajectory normal, says the DDO. We're in the first of 4 flight phases. We'll describe each in turn and in detail so you can follow Ariane as she heads east across the Atlantic. Right now, the first flight phase. The single first stage engine and the 2 boosters are burning. The boosters will each consume 240 tons in just over 2 minutes, another 20 seconds roughly for them to burn. They'll be the first to be extinguished. You'll hear that also, of course, from the DDO. We're 15 kilometers from the pad here in Jupiter, and the sound is just coming over.
And we have booster
All right, those are the separation of the 2 boosters. You saw that. The DDO confirmed it. This is what it looks like up there. There's one on the left-hand side of the vehicle, outside of out of the camera range. Before the boosters are empty, their push diminishes in the onboard computer. The same one senses this drop in acceleration and separates them, and they fall 500 kilometers from shore into a protected area. French Guiana was in part, remember, chosen as a base for its opening on the ocean, launches posing no threat to local population. Take a look at the bottom of your screen. On the left, altitude, on the right, our speed. We're over 100 kilometers, and we're past 2 kilometers per second. We're getting close to the separation of the fairing, which will be next up. And there we are, right on time.
Séparation de la coiffe.
Revealing the silver box on the top is Telesat Inmarsat. Separation is given by 2 pyrotechnic cords, and there's one half you can see, the other half on the right side out of camera range. These cords actually remove the fairing by a contained explosion, very small explosion, that pushes the 2 parts of the fairing apart. We can separate the fairing now. Why? Because we're out of the dense layers of the atmosphere, and neither friction nor heating, which could disturb the passengers. Also, we can get rid of any dead weight. The fairing weighs almost 2.5 tons, so we don't need it anymore. We let it go. Ariane 5, of course, the heavy lift launch vehicle. The other 2 members of the family, Soyuz, lifting middle-sized payloads, 2 and 3 tons. And Vega, the light lift vehicle for missions of 1 ton. Our next film gives you a closer look at one of our upper passenger operators, Telesat 3.
Welcome to the Inmarsat world, your gateway to satellite services right in the heart of Europe.
And liftoff of the Lockheed Martin Atlas V rocket, carrying the first satellite for the countries of Greece and Cyprus.
Inmarsat is a premium satellite communications solutions provider founded in 2001 and acquired by Arabsat in 2013. Its powerful orbital position at 39 degrees east makes Inmarsat organization an established brand name in a highly competitive satellite environment. With ground facilities located in Greece and Cyprus, Inmarsat provides end-to-end, reliable and supreme quality satellite services in Europe, South Africa and the Middle East.
A high-skilled team of satellite network engineers in Greece and Cyprus provide our customers with fully reliable services that meet their communication needs when and wherever is required.
Inmarsat serves leading DTH operators by delivering content to more than 3 million households while providing cost-effective solutions to enterprises and governments that want to expand connectivity to every location of their network in the coverage areas.
Our focus is to provide solutions to our customers through our satellites in Europe, Middle East and South Africa.
As of June 2017, the new geostationary satellite HelasSat 3 will offer service continuity and expansion over 39 degrees east until the end of the year 2034.
HelasSat 3 Inmarsat S is a joint venture between HelasSat and Inmarsat. The HelasSat payload will operate 47 Ku transponders and 9 K channels covering Europe, Middle East and South Africa. The HelasSat 3 Inmarsat S satellite is based on the Spacebus 4000 C4 platform and is one of the largest satellites manufactured by Thales Alenia Space.
The launch and operation of HelasSat 3, to be followed by HelasSat 4 in 2018, are proof that HelasSat is becoming year by year a more powerful and competitive satellite organization, providing further flexible, scalable, and efficient HelasSat services to an even greater market across 3 continents.
Greece and Cyprus, from the ancient times, were the crossroads of civilizations and the crossroads of trade between Middle East, Africa, and Europe. Our ambition is HelasSat to play this role, to be the window of Middle East and Africa to Europe.
At HelasSat, we believe that leveraging our deep expertise to provide fast, reliable, and cost-effective solutions to our customers is at the core of everything we do. HelasSat, growing connections, brighter horizons.
The film mentioned HelasSat 4 to be launched next year. That new satellite will be launched also by Ariane Space. We should have a launch replay coming up for you.
By
Here
now,
we are. That's the first one. We
first stage has burned so much
may
fuel
have several
that
shots
so light that
of
using the
the
tiny
launch
first
vehicle
stage
replay. You
engine
can relive
has
those
a
moments
thrust rate ratio of 2.
as Ariane 5
The
took
rocket
off
acceleration
from the
at 20
pad close to 8
meters per
minutes
second
ago.
squared.
We have cameras at several of the half-dozen observation sites that are stationed at the base, and they furnish us with shots from different angles. Here's the second one. We should have more. I think we're going to have a third one. The closest observation site is called Toucan, like the bird, and many of our VIPs are out there tonight, and that's closest to the base, about 4 kilometers. Wonderful view. We're in the second powered flight phase. The single engine core stage is burning now. While you were watching the film, we were also picked up by our first downrange tracking station in Natal over the border in our neighbor, Brazil. A fast mission tonight. HelasSat Inmarsat will be on station in just 10 days. Michele Franchi of Inmarsat this morning told us that last month they launched from Florida, and the satellite won't be on station until early August because of the mission's different, involving electrical orbit raising and such things, but not today. They're going to be right there in a week and just a few days.
Extinction de l'EPC sur commande de guidage.
There you saw the extinction of the lower stage
de l'EPC.
and the separation, and watch the nozzle on the upper stage. There it is, turning right on. These 3 commands, extinction and separation of the lower stage and ignition of the upper stage, given by the onboard computer in about 13 seconds. And our onboard camera giving a shot of the lower stage falling back into the Atlantic off the Gulf of Guinea. We are now in the third powered flight phase, the single upper stage engine that'll burn until plus 25 minutes, or 16 minutes roughly. Job of the upper stage is to take the satellites to their injection point, position them for separation, and then release them. That's its propulsion role, but it has a second role that comes during its ballistics phase, and we'll get back to that in a while. Our next film, another look at our first passenger, this time on the Inmarsat side.
And we have now, just after first stage separation, almost reached the low orbit velocity, or the minimum
satellite and complementary
orbit.
ground network
The
across Europe.
satellite is now basically in
Seeking to
orbit,
take
but not in its
advantage of a
destination orbit.
visionary and unique commercial and technological opportunity created by the European Commission's DG Connect and subsequently supported to the hilt by 28 member state telecoms regulators. This new network, we said, would uniquely combine space-based and ground-based infrastructure to build a seamless, integrated network across the whole European Union that would deliver the most advanced aviation passenger Wi-Fi experience anywhere in the world. No network like this has ever